I'm very happy to be joined here today by Angela Rooks Trutzik, the CEO of Spark Foundation Lloydminster. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, this is a very sensitive topic that we're going to be talking about today, but the Saskatchewan RCMP recently sent out a report, and it showed that there were higher rates of police reported intimate partner and family violence in 2023 in the province. It was one of the highest, and they said that the calls have increased over 13% over the last 5 years. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what intimate partner violence or family violence looks or sounds like that could cause these numbers to increase?
Yeah, first off, I want to point out that it's police reported incidents. And most domestic violence or family violence doesn't get reported to police until there's been like 7 or 8 incidents. And some studies will show up to 45 incidents. So there's varying amounts of situations that have to happen before our RCMP are called in. So if you were to take a scan of the country, just self-reported incidents of family violence, you would see the numbers grow exponentially. Domestic violence or interpersonal violence is really about power control and specifically coercive control. And it's yes, it can happen quickly, it can happen unexpectedly, and it's a major safety issue across the country.
Yes, for sure. And, seeing these numbers increase, in the report, it said that the calls for intimate partner violence was 813 of per 100,000 population. And then family violence was 890 per 100,000 population. And looking at those numbers and seeing that they have increased a lot, and even that 13% over 5 years, it is scary to look at those numbers. But then you also have to take a step back and think that means more people are coming forward comparatively to 5 years ago when those numbers were lower. So what does that mean? People are coming forward and they're speaking out about this. What does that mean for this awful situation?
Yeah, I think the numbers are hopeful. Which is weird to say when you're talking about domestic violence. However, the more people that come forward, the better it is for not only those survivors of violence, but for the community, because this is a community issue, not an individual issue. And I think that's important for people to remember is that this is happening in our communities. Yes, it's happening behind closed doors most of the time, but these are members of our community and they're unsafe. And it's important for us to remember and do what we can to help those that are impacted by violence. What we see in our shelters is similar to what is being reported. We are seeing an increase of calls to our shelter, requests for admission to our shelter, and we've seen an increase in occupancy. So what is being reported is happening across the province and happening right here in Lloydminster.
Yes, and it's fantastic that we do have resources like Spark Foundation to facilitate those victims and those survivors coming forward and taking those next steps. Now, some people who are victims of this violence, they feel like they don't have any other support, whether that's familiar support or just have a circle that they could go to. So it can be kind of scary and almost like they're stuck in that situation and they can't get out of. So what are some steps that they can take to ensure that they do get out safely and it doesn't escalate to something even more serious?
First and foremost, we say if you're in danger, call 911. Safety is paramount. Your safety is number one. So don't be afraid to reach out to RCMP and they are there to help you. So if you are immediately in danger, call 911. If you are able to, call into our crisis line and trained staff are there to answer the phone and speak to you and help guide you through what your next steps are, whether that is coming into shelter or receiving community-based supports. We have many, many supports in our community, in particular at the Spark Foundation. to support those that are fleeing.
Wonderful. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to touch on that I may have missed regarding this subject?
Well, November is actually Family Violence Prevention Month, so it's a really unique time to be talking about family violence. So this segment couldn't come at a better time, and we just ask that people really reflect on their relationships and on their ability to support those that need help in their relationships. Every small little bit counts, and it starts with education, learning about the issue of domestic violence, learning about what community resources are in your community for that issue, and not being afraid to reach out to people when you are in need.
Wonderful. Well, it's always great talking with you, Angela. The Spark Foundation is a fantastic resource, and it continues to be in this community. So, thank you for joining me and shedding your expertise on this subject. It is really helpful hearing what you have to say about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.